Brace yourself for a raw and revealing exploration of ego, deceit, and the profound impact of self-discovery in the gripping journey of this narcissist named Dane Owens. 27-year-old Dane Owens was called in for questioning one day after his ex-girlfriend Rowena Irana was found deceased in her parents' home. Rowena had broken things off with Dane after he was apparently taking things too fast. Dane wanted to get married and settle down. However, the thought of that to Rowena was terrifying. Here is Dane's interaction with investigators after the incident occurred.
Alright, well Dane, like the officers told you, I think, coming up here, we want to talk about what happened with Rowena today. Is it Rowena?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've been telling me here the last few minutes that you want to be honest, you want to tell us you know this is what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm more than happy to sit back and listen. Okay, that's the easiest way. So, I guess, can you give us a little idea what happened today?
I'll pretty much kind of just start kind of from the beginning or whatever. We've been friends for 5 years, a little over 5 years. We've kind of had this on and off dating, wanting to date kind of thing going on for, the past 5 years, but it never worked out, XYZ, whatever. And the reason why I want to explain all this other stuff is it does have a purpose. I'm not just trying to waste time, I promise.
You're good.
It was last week, she was kind of acting just kind of funny. It's really weird. And I was like, is everything okay, or, what's going on? And then, she basically just kind of said, it's like, I just don't think, she's kind of doing the thing where she doesn't think, it'll work out because of something way, way, way in the future. I'm just like, well, that's...
Dane then writes down the names of his small group of friends. Those names included Rowena and her brother Rashad, as well as some of his military friends. Dane is still under the impression that Rowena is alive, as the investigators told him that they are questioning him after she got assaulted.
Stuff has kind of been, I don't know, it's been picking up and acting weird for me for about the past month, and I've been asking for my friends, hey, would you want to help me, or, and so I asked Rowena, I was like, what's going on? And she was just like, oh, blah, 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 whatever, and I'm just like, this is the, second time I've just asked you, I'm just clarifying what's going on. And then I would ask Rashad, I was like, hey, is everything alright with your sister? Just trying to be normal. I'm not trying to create drama. I'm not trying to harass. I'm not trying to do any of that. And so, and he's like, well, do you disrespect my relationship with my sister? He can't really tell you. I'm like, I completely understand that. And so then I asked Rowena, I didn't even ask her. The other day, I just sent her a text, because we've been friends for 5 years. I'm just like, hey, what's going on? How was work? And then she just, right after that, blocks me from everything. And then Rashad's like, you need to just stop talking to her because, she'll press charges and all this stuff. I'm just like, I just asked her how her day was. She never gave me an indication of anything that was stop, whatever. I'm just trying to be a friend. I understand she didn't want to do this, whatever, fine, cool. And so then, I would try and ask, Officer or Misbah, hey, just to talk, just to vent. And of course, no, they didn't want to do it. And I'm just like...
Once he finally starts talking about his day, he tries to cover himself by saying he took more painkillers than he was supposed to, which showed up in his behavior. The investigators then give him a 5-minute break and step out of the room. Once they returned, Dane surprised them by actually talking about everything that had happened.
I had no intentions of hurting anyone, because I've never hurt anyone. I don't, at least I didn't do that. And so, I just went over to her house, because I knew what time she kind of got off, stuff, whatever. And, I thought her parents would be home, too, so I was not like, I knew she was going to be home alone, and So, I mean, she let me in. I was kind of a little already, because first off, you know, I did kind of a no-no, you know, driving kind of under the influence, you know, with my shoulder. I was already maxed out with everything, and I don't even really know why, but I just had the gun, and it's not because I had it for her. I usually would carry one around just because, I mean, I'm just kind of paranoid like that. And, I mean, it just happened so fast, just talking, and, like, I didn't even pull the trigger or anything. Like, all I remember is it went off.
What?
And I was just like, what just happened? Like, I mean, I don't know what happened.
Dane then contradicts his previous statements where he said he would never hurt anyone by saying that he has indeed hurt people, both bad people and innocent civilians.
I wasn't trying to hurt her or anything. It went off, and I literally just didn't know what to do. I mean, I've been in combat and all that stuff, and I mean, I literally just panicked and freaked out because I didn't even, like, it was just in here. Like, I mean, I just had it in here, and like we were talking, and then, like, I don't know if, like, because of how, you know, I was already kind of like loopy a little bit, if it just, I was already just woo, and she just made me jump or something, I don't know, but I wasn't trying to hurt her at all, and it went off. And I mean, it's not an excuse for anything. I mean, it's, I don't know, this whole week has just piled up, and I don't know, I don't even remember it going off, and it went off, and I didn't know what to do.
Dane mentioned that the handgun had gone off accidentally while it was in his sling. However, the evidence at Rowena's house says otherwise. The investigators were more interested about what he did after the gun fired, so they asked him about it. This is what he had to say.
What happened after the gun went off?
I was just looking, I just saw her, like, she just fell down, and I was just like, I just didn't know what to do. I was like, this is not gonna look good no matter how I do this.
What'd you do right after that? Right after the gun goes off, what do you do?
I just stared at her. I was just like, well, I tried to see what.
Did you walk over to her?
Yeah.
What happened?
I just got overwhelmed with emotions. And I didn't no intentions of doing that.
Dane admitted to leaving Rowena's house after he claimed that he thought that she was deceased. The detectives then told Dane that they knew he had gone over to Rowena's house without calling her before. He even entered her home without knocking. When they asked him why he took the gun inside instead of leaving it in his car, he claimed that he took it with him so she would listen to him.
But that's why you had the gun with you, was to confront her so she would listen to you. Is that right? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I just want to know what you're telling me, okay?
I don't want to hurt people. I just want people to get me over. All I do is help people. I go out of my way to help people. In Manhattan, I'll go pick up a homeless person and take him home and let him shower and get him food. I mean, I've tried to get help through the VA, and they don't help me.
The main issue with Dane's story was that he mentioned the gun had fired accidentally. However, when the police arrived at the scene, there was a bullet hole in the window, as well as a shell for a bullet that proved it was no accident. The height of the hole as well as the height of the wound on Rowena both proved that Dane had shot the gun with both hands at shoulder height, making it impossible for it to have been a mistake from his sling. This is what investigators said to him after they reviewed everything.
So did you have the gun in your right hand? It was just laying next to
it was in my hand, but when she came around and just startled me, just pulled it.
Pulled the trigger or pulled the gun?
Yeah.
How did you shoot it?
It was like...
With your right hand? Okay.
Yeah, and it, like, I mean, I had it, like, aimed down, and so when she came around the corner, she just, like, jumped, and just kind of, like, freaked me out, so I went like that. It was just, like, almost like a natural reaction.
How many times did you fire?
Just once.
So, she comes around the corner, you walk in, you have the gun, and you're slaying with your hand. I mean, your hand's holding it, I assume. Okay. And you must have your finger near the trigger.
Yeah, I never put it on it, just for kind of like the fire muzzle or trigger safety thing, and then it's just like, and she kind of just, I don't even know how we startled each other, but then it just...
The investigators give Dane a replica of his handgun that was used in the crime to see exactly how he claimed he was holding it.
If you could kind of stand up, pretend like right here's the doorway as you're coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, so you step in enough that you can close the door,
Mm-hmm.
and then
So I was holding it like that. So I closed it, and then like she popped around, and I just don't know what happened. It was just like that, like it jerked up, and then it just, my finger just slipped and just.
Okay. Now, the way you're showing in there was you didn't have a grip on the gun?
Yeah, like I wasn't, just because like I'm not gonna walk in there kind of like that, but yeah, like I had it, like.
You had it gripped, but still kind of pointed downward. And then as she came around,
it just slipped, like I jerked up out of accident.
Okay.
Not only did his demonstration prove that he was lying, the fact that he could not even fit a gun into a sling properly was insane. The investigators then looked into his previous relationships to see if it was a reoccurring thing. It came out that almost all the women he had dated in the past complained that he had become obsessed with each of them, resulting in them breaking up with him. They even interviewed one of his exes to see what she had to say about the relationship.
Were you guys together most of that time period? I mean, were there breaks or?
I mean, I'd say all in the relationship. I mean, it was off and on.
Okay.
And I have this reaction because it was, I would say that I was verbally abused during it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What?
He told me as far as boys who I could and couldn't talk to. He would pull me away from my friends. He was just very unstable. You never knew what kind of mood he was in. One day he'd be happy, and then the next day I did something to make him mad, and I had no idea what that was. He got mad. He was a very good athlete, and I couldn't go to some of his football games, and well, I thought, well, maybe I'll try out for cheerleading. Cheerleaders always go to the football games, so he wouldn't get mad at me. Well, I made the cheerleading squad, and then he calls me that I'm a big cheerleader now. It just brings up a lot of pain. I felt like, here I was dealing with this unstable guy, and all his football players thought it was me. And I think back to how hurtful that was, that I was just felt like a normal, high school girl, and I was just, I don't know, trying to be a good girlfriend, and, he was just so unpredictable. I'd do things I didn't know, like even saying things, so it was, I never knew what kind of Dane I'd get.
Did it just kind of go back and forth, or?
Yeah. I was the one who finally, this is done.
Okay. What brought that on?
I just couldn't take it anymore. I feel like even now I didn't have a time in high school. It was just got too much. I got to the point I was having panic attacks. I was having anxiety. I just couldn't handle the stress. He would say that he was going to in high school. I didn't know what to do with that information. I think he said you can't tell anyone. And the next day he wasn't at school. So of course I'm freaking out. Well, he had an appointment and he didn't care to share that. I just couldn't do it. I was losing my friends. I was being talked about. I was getting these horrible things said about me by these other friends and boys, and I just, I was done.
And how did you go about breaking up with him?
I think it was on a phone call. I just said, I don't remember what I said, but this is over. And my mom actually had to take my phone away that night because he wouldn't stop texting or calling.
Did they send cards, anything like that? Any handwritten stuff? Okay. What kind of stuff would he say in the text? Do you remember?
No.
I know it's only been about 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
I can't live without you. Probably, I love you, that sort of stuff.
Okay. He ever asked you to marry him?
Yeah. Well, he had a ring. I remember seeing the ring. And it wasn't, I don't know if it was an actual proposal or if this is going to happen down the line. And I just, it gives me a stomachache thinking.
Sure.
They already had more than enough evidence to charge Dane with murder, and his ex's statement gave them both even more evidence that he was in fact mentally unstable. Once they charged him with first-degree murder, Dane was taken to trial and was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison with no parole.